While Pakistan struggles to contain its own instability, its oppressive policies continue to spark outrage on international platforms. In yet another damning indictment of Pakistan's human rights abuses, scores of activists from the Baloch National Movement staged a protest in front of the United Nations Human Rights Council office in Geneva this past weekend. They demand an end to the atrocities inflicted on the people of Balochistan. From enforced disappearances to extrajudicial killings, the demonstrators called on the international community to take urgent action. Our report has more.
Dozens of activists from the Baloch National Movement gathered outside the UNHRC office in Geneva, raising their voices against Pakistan's systematic human rights violations in Balochistan. Holding banners and chanting slogans, they condemned enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killing, and the repression of dissent in the region. The demonstrators demanded the immediate release of prominent activists, including Dr. Mehrang and Samidin Baloch, while calling for global intervention to end Pakistan's brutal crackdown on the Baloch people. Reaffirming their commitment to a peaceful struggle for Balochistan's liberation, the protesters vowed to intensify their diplomatic efforts with international organizations such as the United Nations and human rights bodies. Meanwhile, BNM's Manzoor Baloch addressed the UNHRC, calling for urgent intervention to address the humanitarian crisis in Balochistan.
Inside Balochistan, countless families have been displaced due to military operation, enforced disappearances, and widespread violence. These IDPs live in dire conditions without proper access, food, shelter, and health care. We urge this council to call on the UNHRC to recognize Baloch refugees, conduct a mission to Balochistan, and take immediate action to address the need.
The protest came in wake of the 6th Balochistan International Conference hosted by the Baloch National Movement in Geneva. The event saw political leaders, journalists, and the intellectuals highlighting the grave human rights violations in Balochistan and the exploitation of its natural resource by both Pakistan and China. BNM's chairman, Dr. Naseem Baloch, underscored the alarming reality of enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killing, and economic marginalization faced by the Baloch people.
And yet, despite these, our voices have been silenced, our leaders assassinated, and our youth disappeared without a trace. Balochistan today is bleeding. The notorious kill and dump policy has turned our home into a graveyard. Thousands of Baloch men, women, and children have been abducted by Pakistani forces. Their lifeless bodies, marked with torture, are thrown into the wilderness as a warning to those who dare to demand freedom. Thousands remain missing, leaving behind families trapped in a cycle of pain and uncertainty.
Marking 77 years since Pakistan's forced annexation of Balochistan, Dr. Baloch reminded the world that the so-called integration was an act of aggression, not a peaceful transition. Since then, Balochistan has remained a battleground of operation where state forces unleashed brutal crackdown on dissent. The unrest is not confined to international platforms. On the day of Eid, thousands in Pakistan turned a movement of celebration into a massive resistance demonstration, demanding the release of detained Baloch leaders. In a stark reminder of the ongoing struggle for human rights in Balochistan, Mehrang Baloch and several other activists have been recently detained in significant crackdown on dissent. This region, long marked by oppression and violence, continued to witness the relentless effort of those advocating for justice. As the crackdown intensifies, so does the global scrutiny of Pakistan's action. With mounting calls for justice and increasing international awareness, the question remains: how much longer can Islamabad suppress the voice of the Baloch people before the world is compelled to act?